On moonless nights across southern Chile, when the wind shivers through the trees and the sky feels too quiet, villagers whisper of a sound no one wants to hear. Not a bird, not an animal, not anything alive in the way we understand it. It is the cry of the Chonchon, one of the most terrifying beings in Mapuche mythology, a flying human head with feathered ears for wings, sent into the night by the forbidden power of a witch known as a kalku. This is not a creature of random malice. It is a symbol of sorcery, secrecy, and the dangerous side of ancient knowledge. And for centuries, the Chonchon has haunted the borderlands between fear and fascination, myth and memory. Tonight, we enter its world. Before we confront the Chonchon, we must step into the world that created it. Stretching across the valleys, forests, and volcanic mountains of what is now Chile and parts of Argentina, the Mapuche people have survived wars, colonization attempts, and centuries of upheaval. Their culture is deeply tied to the land, to rivers, to sacred trees, to spirits, and to the unseen forces that weave through everyday life. In Mapuche cosmology, every being has a spirit. Every illness has a cause. Every imbalance has consequences. Every act of power must be done with respect for cosmic equilibrium. Their world is governed by dualities. Good versus evil, healing versus sorcery, life versus death, light versus shadow, Ingenican, benevolent forces, versus wekufe, malevolent spirits. The Chonchon sits on the darkest edge of this delicate balance. It is not a random monster. It is the embodiment of forbidden magic. The Chonchon is not born. It is made, or rather, it is transformed. In Mapuche belief, there are two types of spiritual practitioners. 1. Maki, the healers, caretakers of health, dreams, herbs, ritual harmony, communication with benevolent spirits. They maintain balance. 2. Kalku, the sorcerers, seekers of forbidden knowledge, personal power, control over spirits, curses, dark magic. They disrupt balance. A kalku does not simply stumble into evil. They choose it deliberately, knowingly, and with consequences. And the Chonchon is their greatest metamorphosis. To achieve it, the kalku performs a ritual involving rare herbs, a magical ointment, whispered invocations, a separation of spirit from flesh. At the ritual's height, the kalku's head detaches from the body, rising into the air, sprouting feathers from its oversized ears, transforming into a night-flying creature with a human face twisted by sorcery. The body remains hidden somewhere, vulnerable, inert, waiting for its head to return. In this moment, the kalku becomes something feared by all, a being free from human limitations and bound only to the shadows. The Chonchon is among the most unsettling mythological beings ever described. Its features combine human, bird, and demonic traits. A severed human head with a neck ripped open, massive ears, feathered and flapping like wings, wild, tangled hair whipping in the wind, sharp teeth, sometimes exaggerated into fangs, talons emerging from where the chin might be, eyes glowing with hunger or magic, a shadow that moves too quickly to be natural. It is neither fully alive nor fully dead, but an extension of the kalku's will. Some see it as a floating head, a night bird, a demon, a sorcerer's astral form, a curse given shape, and depending on the storyteller, the Chonchon either appears clearly to the magically knowledgeable, or remains invisible to ordinary people. Its only universal trait is the cry, a death omen, a warning, a mark of doom. Villagers who hear it stay indoors, clutching amulets and whispering protective prayers. Why is the Chonchon feared more for its sound than its shape? Because the cry is never random. According to lore, when its voice echoes across a village, someone nearby is ill, someone is cursed, someone is dying, or a death is about to be announced. In rural Chile, even today, mysterious nighttime bird calls with Chonchon's voice sound can cause unease. Some elders still say, if you hear the Chonchon, close your windows and pray. It is looking for a house to strike. The cry functions almost like a spiritual siren, heralding the presence of sorcery, the arrival of illness, or the approach of death. It is a psychological weapon as much as a supernatural one. Communities once performed counter-rituals, burning herbs, chanting protective verses, banging pots, invoking Maki spirits, sprinkling salt or ash. But if the Chonchon fixates on a house, these protections might not be enough. Unlike other mythic beings, the Chonchon does not have parents, offspring, or celestial relatives. Its family is formed by choice or corruption. The family of Kalkus. Kalkus, the sorcerers of Mapuche lore, sometimes operate in secret groups, exchanging magic, invoking wekufe spirits, performing nocturnal rituals, sharing knowledge of poisons and curses. In these covens, the Chonchon becomes both a shared transformation ritual and a tool for dark work. Some stories describe multiple Chonchones flying together at night, like a flock of malevolent birds, each the severed head of a different kalku. The wekufe connection. Wekufe are malevolent spirits that spread disease, disrupt harmony, cause accidents, empower dark sorcery. Some versions say the Chonchon receives its strength from a pact with a wekufe, making it part of a broader network of spiritual danger. Thus, although the Chonchon has no natural family, it belongs to a kinship of sorcerers, spirits, and darkness. Because Mapuche culture spans many regions and diaspora communities, the creature has accumulated numerous names. The most common alternate name. It imitates its haunting cry, chucho/choo-choo, onomatopoeic variations found in rural folklore. Chonchonei, a more affectionate or diminutive form, often used when warning children. These names reveal its presence across Chilean coastal towns, Argentinian mountain villages, forest settlements, oral storytelling traditions, rural superstition. And while the names vary, the creature's identity remains unmistakable. Its signature blend of human head, bird traits, nocturnal flight, death omen makes it instantly recognizable. Though unique to Mapuche belief, the Chonchon shares similarities with other world mythologies. Penanggalan, Malaysia, a woman whose head detaches, trailing organs, to hunt at night. Manananggal, Philippines, a torso separating vampiric, which that flies to hunt sleeping victims. Rokurokubi, Japan, humans whose necks stretch or heads detach during the night. La Patasola, Colombia, a single-legged demon woman, often interpreted as a transformation spirit. The Vrikalakas, Greece. Undead beings are associated with night attacks and illness. These cross-cultural parallels suggest a universal theme. Fear of secret night predators. Fear of sorcerers in human form. Fear of hidden transformations. Fear of those who appear ordinary by day, but monstrous by night. The Chonchon fits this archetype perfectly, but remains culturally distinct in its symbolism. The Chonchon's abilities are extensive, due to its origin as a transformed sorcerer. One flight, achieved through wing-like ears, not bound by normal aerodynamics. Able to move, silently, invisibly, unpredictably. Its presence is known only by the cry. 2. Vampiric feeding. The Chonchon feeds on blood, vitality, the life force of the weak. It targets newborns, the sick, the elderly, sleepers. Deaths attributed to sudden night illness were sometimes blamed on Chonchones. 3. Sorcery. It retains all powers of the kalku. Curses, shape-shifting, summoning wekufe, spreading disease, interfering with dreams, causing fevers or nightmares. 4. Invisibility. Ordinary people cannot see it. Only Makis, other kalkus, spiritually sensitive individuals, can perceive its true form. 5. Dual existence. By day, a normal villager blending into society. By night, a flying parasite of dark intention. This duality created paranoia in some rural areas. Anyone could be a kalku hiding behind a polite face. The Chonchon isn't just a monster. It is a message. Its presence warns against misuse of knowledge, betrayal of community harmony, temptation of forbidden power, imbalance between natural and spiritual worlds. In Mapuche society, the Maki heals, the kalku harms. The Chonchon is the kalku's ultimate proof of corruption. Parents use the myth to teach children not to wander at night, not to trust strangers, not to seek forbidden power, to respect spiritual balance. The creature is as moral as it is terrifying. Despite centuries of colonization, Christianization, and cultural suppression, the Chonchon persists. In rural Chile and Argentina, people still fear hearing Chonchon's voice at night. In literature, South American horror writers use the Chonchon as a symbol of indigenous darkness and mystery. In film and scripts, it appears as a terrifying antagonist or spiritual threat. In academic circles, anthropologists study it as a symbol of social control, a metaphor for sorcery, a representation of spiritual imbalance. In gaming culture, players and developers reinterpret the Chonchon as a boss monster, a flying demon, a cursed sorcerer, a vampiric spirit. Its ability to inspire remains strong. But to the Mapuche, its meaning is unchanged. The Chonchon is the reminder that power without balance destroys, not only others, but oneself. One of the most haunting aspects of the Chonchon myth is not the flying head itself, but the body it leaves behind. When a kalku becomes a Chonchon, the head detaches violently, ripping itself free from the flesh. The body, now lifeless, remains hidden somewhere safe, in a hut, a cellar, a sacred cave, or even buried under leaves. Why does this matter? Because the head must return. If the Chonchon is killed, trapped, exposed to light, or prevented from reattaching before dawn, the kalku dies permanently. This vulnerability shaped several folk practices: closing windows at night, blocking chimneys, hanging herbs near doors, leaving offerings to protective spirits. Even in modern stories, villagers tell of finding human bodies lying cold and limp in remote locations, still alive but empty, waiting for their head to return. The body is the sorcerer's anchor to the mortal world. Without it, the Chonchon remains a homeless predator. The Chonchon's hunting patterns are unlike any ordinary predator. 1. It selects its victims carefully. Not all prey is equal. It prefers the weak, the sick, infants, those with fragile spiritual defenses, the spiritually open, because the Chonchon feeds on vital energy as much as blood. 2. It becomes invisible. Some legends claim only dogs, cats, infants, makis can sense the creature's presence. Animals often grow restless, barking frantically or staring into empty air as the Chonchon approaches. 3. It enters through cracks or roofs. In Mapuche homes, rucas, the roofing material was often natural: hay, wood, or reeds. The Chonchon could slip through the smallest gap, manifesting as a shadow, a cold wind, a pressure on the chest, a whispering cry. 4. It feeds silently. Victims often showed sudden weakness, extreme fatigue, pallor, unexplained illness, delirium. Healers could sometimes reverse this if they detected sorcery, but many victims did not survive. In colonial times, mysterious deaths were often attributed to Chonchones, especially during outbreaks of disease. The myth served as both an explanation, a call for community protection, a reminder of spiritual vigilance. To see a Chonchon hunting is to witness a sorcerer's darkest hunger set free. Although feared, the Chonchon is not invincible. Mapuche lore gives several methods for protection, though none are easy. 1. Hearing its cry. If someone hears tue-tue-tue, they must respond loudly. Tue-tue, tue-tue, tomasad. Take salt. Salt is believed to burn or repel dark magic. 2. Throwing ash or quinoa. Ash from sacred fires or unsoaked quinoa seeds disrupt the Chonchon's flight or reveal its true form. 3. Iron objects. Colonial influence introduced the idea that metal harms sorcery. Some villagers hung iron tools to ward off Chonchones. 4. Magie intervention. The most powerful defense. A maki, healer, can identify the kalku, sever the bond between head and body, Protect the victim's spirit. Summon benevolent spirits to chase away the flying head. 5. Destroy the head before dawn. The most extreme method. If a Chonchon's head is destroyed or trapped and prevented from returning to the body, the kalku dies instantly. This was dangerous because kalkus often had human allies, hidden covens, or spirits guarding them. Still, the myths suggest that communities were not powerless. They could resist sorcery when united. To understand the Chonchon fully, we must go deeper into the soul of the kalku, the human responsible for its existence. The kalku is not born evil. Often, they begin as apprentices, frustrated Maki hopefuls, people seeking personal vengeance, individuals jealous of spiritual power, those tempted by wekufe spirits. Mapuche tradition emphasizes balance. Breaking that balance, by using magic for selfish or harmful purposes, corrupts the soul. Anthropologists describe the kalku as a social deviant, someone who rejects community norms, a person seeking power outside accepted ritual frameworks. The Chonchon transformation is the final step in this corruption, a ritual of irreversible darkness, a rejection of humanity, a surrender to predatory instincts. Where a Maki heals the sick, a kalku haunts them. Where a Maki guards the community, a kalku exploits it. The Chonchon is the sorcerer's ultimate separation from society. Every culture has ways of expressing fear of internal threats. Witches, traitors, sorcerers, corrupt healers, power-hungry individuals. For the Mapuche, the Chonchon became a symbol of the danger of misusing spiritual knowledge, those who betray community values, the consequences of seeking secret power. Clan unity, trust, and harmony were essential for survival. Anything that disrupted these, especially sorcery, was seen as deeply dangerous. Thus, the Chonchon myth served to reinforce moral boundaries, discourage sorcery, warn children against wandering out at night, stigmatize antisocial behavior, maintain social cohesion. The creature wasn't just feared, it was needed as a cultural safeguard. When the Spanish colonizers arrived in the 1500s, they brought Christianity, demonology, new concepts of witchcraft, fear of heresy. These ideas blended with Mapuche beliefs, intensifying the image of the kalku and the Chonchon. Colonial priests often described kalkus as devil worshippers, sorcerers, servants of Satan, and the Chonchon was interpreted through a European lens as a demon, a succubus-like creature, a flying agent of the devil. However, beneath these imposed interpretations, the indigenous meaning remained. The Chonchon is not demonic, is not fallen from heaven, is not a servant of Satan. It is the human spirit corrupted by misused knowledge, not by sin, but by imbalance. This distinction is crucial to understanding the myth through a Mapuche worldview rather than a European one. Despite the advance of modernity, technology, and urbanization, the Chonchon persists with surprising strength in rural areas. Even today, strange night sounds are interpreted as Chonchon's voice. Farmers claim cattle died after hearing the cry. Night birds with odd calls are feared. Elders warn children not to mock the myth. People avoid going out alone at night in certain regions. The Chonchon has become a symbol of fate, death omens, spiritual interference, the lingering presence of sorcery. Many Chileans will tell you, even if jokingly, that if you hear Chonchon's voice outside your window, you should never look. The Chonchon has found a second life far beyond the Andes. 1. Horror literature. Writers across Chile, Argentina, and Peru weave it into short stories, supernatural thrillers, mystery novels, indigenous-themed horror. Its grotesque appearance makes it a perfect antagonist. 2. Television and documentaries. Several Latin American paranormal shows depict reenactments of Chonchon sightings. 3. Movies. Independent South American filmmakers incorporated as a flying demon, a cursed witch spirit, a supernatural assassin. 4. Internet mythology. Online communities, from Reddit to creepypasta, have reimagined it as a boss monster, A horror trope. A cursed flying head. A transformation gone wrong. 5. Monster bestiaries and fantasy games. Players worldwide encounter creatures clearly inspired by the Chonchon. Flying, severed heads. Sorcerer mutants. Vampiric sky predators. Its silhouette is instantly recognizable. Human face plus wings. Grotesque, simple, iconic. The Chonchon has quietly become part of global monster culture. Throughout world mythology, the head symbolizes identity, spirit, consciousness, power, ego. To separate the head from the body is to separate soul from flesh, identity from morality, intellect from restraint. The Chonchon represents 1. The mind unbound, knowledge uncontrolled, power unleashed, consciousness freed from responsibility. 2. The self-devouring others, a sorcerer who consumes the life of others to sustain their own unnatural existence. 3. Fear of internal danger. Unlike monsters from outside the village, the Chonchon is created within the community. The threat comes from your neighbor, your relative, your healer, your leader. This inward fear makes it psychologically powerful. Modern audiences crave stories of transformation, forbidden power, parasitic sorcery, secret nocturnal beings, dual identities. The Chonchon offers all of these in one myth. It remains terrifying because it represents a familiar person who becomes monstrous, a predator disguised as a neighbor. The consequences of power without morality, vulnerability during sleep, fear of unexplained death. It taps into primal anxieties. What hunts us at night? What hides behind human faces? What happens when knowledge becomes dangerous? How much of ourselves would we sacrifice for forbidden strength? The Chonchon is not just a creature. It is a warning against becoming one. Even today, in remote Chilean valleys, some elders claim, if you hear the Chonchon, do not answer. Do not look. Do not challenge it. Just wait for dawn. Whether one believes in literal flying heads or not, the myth endures because it captures something ancient and universal. The fear of what we might become when we let our darkest desires take flight. And so, the head of the kalku still rises in stories, still flaps its ear wings in the night, still cries, still reminds the living. Some knowledge is not meant to be used. Some power must never be taken. And some nights are better left unchallenged.